The church was beautiful. White flowers lined the aisles. Soft music played in the background as everyone stood, waiting for the bride to walk down. It was a perfect day, until Carla stood up. "I object," she said loudly, her voice shaking but clear. Gasps echoed through the church. Heads turned. Janelle, the bride, froze halfway down the aisle, her smile fading. The groom, Derek, looked stunned. Carla stood tall, in a tight navy dress, her hands clenched by her side. "I'm sorry, but I can't let this happen," she continued. "Derek isn't who you think he is. He slept with me last night." The silence was loud. Everyone looked at Derek. He didn't speak. He didn't even move. Janelle dropped her bouquet. Her face was pale. "What?" she whispered, but no one heard her. Carla kept going. "He told me he's making a mistake, that he doesn't really love you." "Carla, stop!" someone shouted, but Carla didn't stop. She turned and walked out of the church as people stared at her in shock. Some murmured, some whispered, others just watched. Janelle stood frozen, her hands shaking. Her heart was breaking in front of 100 people. Derek still hadn't said a word. His face was pale, his eyes locked on the door where Carla had just exited. Nobody knew what to do. The pastor slowly stepped back. A woman in the front row wiped away a tear. Janelle slowly turned to Derek, tears running down her cheeks. "Is it true?" she asked. Derek didn't answer. Janelle's breath caught in her throat. She turned and ran out the side door, her veil trailing behind her. The wedding was over, and no one had any idea why Carla really did it. Carla and Janelle had always been different. Carla was the older sister by 3 years. Growing up, she was loud, bold, and always trying to prove something. Janelle, on the other hand, was quiet, kind, and soft-spoken. But somehow, everyone always liked Janelle more. Teachers loved her. Boys noticed her. Even their parents, though they never said it out loud, seemed to favor her. Carla never forgot the small things, like how on Carla's 16th birthday, their mum spent more time asking Janelle about her school grades than celebrating the cake. Or how, when Janelle got into nursing school, everyone clapped and cheered. But when Carla started working in retail after college, no one said anything. They just nodded like it wasn't a big deal. Still, they were sisters. They had their moments, laughing over movies, eating ice cream late at night, talking about life and dreams. But Carla always felt like she was in second place. Like no matter how hard she tried, Janelle would always shine brighter. Carla had been married once. His name was Marcus. It didn't last. He was cold, distant, and cheated often. The final straw came when Carla found texts between him and her co-worker. She moved out that same day. No goodbye, no looking back. After that, her life felt like a mess. She had no job, no house, and no one to turn to, except Janelle. Janelle didn't ask questions. She simply said, "Come stay with me." So Carla did. She moved into the small guest room in Janelle's apartment. It was supposed to be for a few weeks, but weeks turned into months. Janelle never complained. She paid for groceries, cooked dinner, and even gave Carla money when she couldn't pay her phone bill. She was patient, always smiling, always kind. It made Carla feel small, like she was a burden, a shadow in her sister's bright, perfect life. Then came Derek. Derek was tall, quiet, and always polite. He worked in IT and had a calm way about him. He wasn't flashy, but there was something strong and steady in him. Carla saw it right away. The way he looked at Janelle with warmth, the way he pulled out her chair or walked on the outside of the street when they were together. Carla hated him instantly. Not because he was rude, not because he was bad, but because he was perfect for Janelle. They got engaged after 2 years of dating. Derek proposed on a beach in front of their friends. Janelle said yes with tears in her eyes. She came home that night, holding the ring up for Carla to see. Carla smiled and hugged her, but her heart was heavy. She knew she should be happy, but all she felt was envy. The wedding planning took over everything. Every day it was flowers, dresses, guest lists. Janelle talked about it non-stop. Carla pretended to be interested. She gave her opinions, tried to be helpful, but the more involved she got, the more it hurt. Late at night, Carla would sit in the kitchen alone. Sometimes she cried. Sometimes she stared at the ceiling. She wondered why nothing ever worked out for her. Why did Janelle get the happy ending and she didn't? Why did people love Janelle so easily? But with her, it was always hard. One night, she heard Janelle and Derek laughing from the bedroom. She pressed her ear to the wall and listened. Something inside her snapped. She felt angry, sad, and lost all at once. She poured herself a drink, then another. Her thoughts got darker. The next day, Derek left for work and forgot his phone on the counter. Carla noticed it when she went to make coffee. She stared at it for a long time. Her fingers hovered over the screen. She knew his passcode. Janelle had mentioned it once. She opened it. No texts. Nothing suspicious. But then she remembered the drawer in the hallway. Derek had a small wooden box there. She had seen him put something in it once. She waited until the house was empty and opened it. There was a letter inside, folded, sealed, but not addressed. Her name wasn't on it. No one's was. She stared at it for a long time, heart racing. Something told her not to read it, but she couldn't stop herself. She tore it open. The letter was written in Derek's handwriting. It was honest, full of emotion. He was writing to Janelle, telling her about a part of his past he had never shared, something painful, a mistake he made when he was younger, a secret he wanted her to know before the wedding. He wanted to be honest, to start their life together clean. Carla read it all. Then she read it again. When she finished, she sat down on the floor, letter still in hand. She wasn't angry anymore. She was hurt, not by Derek, not even by the letter, but by how kind he was, how thoughtful, how deeply he loved Janelle, and how she had never had anything like that. Carla felt invisible. That night, she started drinking again. She stared at herself in the mirror and whispered, "You'll always be second." The next morning, she told Janelle she thought Derek was hiding something, that she saw him. It started 2 nights before the wedding. Carla couldn't sleep. She was lying in bed staring at the ceiling, her mind racing. She felt like the world was moving on without her. Everyone was happy. Everyone was in love, except her. She got up and walked to the kitchen. She poured herself a glass of wine, then another. The silence in the apartment felt loud, too loud. Then she heard the front door open. Derek walked in. He had gone to pick up something for the wedding. He looked surprised to see her awake. "You're up late," he said, placing a small bag on the counter. Carla nodded and took a sip. "Can't sleep." He poured himself some water and leaned on the counter. For a moment, they just stood there in silence. "You nervous about the wedding?" she asked, watching him closely. "A little," he said, smiling. "Not about marrying Janelle, just all the attention." "She's lucky," Carla said quietly. Derek looked at her. "I'm the lucky one." That hurt. Carla looked away. "You know," she said, trying to sound casual, "I always wondered what you thought of me." Derek frowned. "What do you mean?" "I mean," she said, walking closer, "we've lived in the same house for months. You and I have spent time alone, late nights, talking. You've seen me at my worst, and you've always been so nice, so kind." He looked uncomfortable. "Carla, I just need to know," she said, her voice shaking now. "Do you ever think about me, even for a second?" He paused. "Carla, you're Janelle's sister. I care about you because you matter to her. But I love Janelle. Only Janelle." The words hit hard. Carla tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. She stepped even closer, her heart pounding. "I don't think you're being honest," she whispered. "Not with me, not with her." Derek shook his head and stepped back. "Carla, I think you've had too much to drink. Maybe you should get some rest." She felt heat rise in her face. Rejection. Again. "You're lying," she snapped. "You've been lying this whole time. I see the way you look at me. You think I'm stupid." "No," he said calmly. "I think you're hurting, and I think you need help." Those words broke her. Carla stormed out of the kitchen. She slammed her door and cried for hours. Her mind kept replaying his words. "I love Janelle. Only Janelle. You need help." The next day she woke up early. Her head hurt, but her thoughts were clear. She walked to the hallway and opened the drawer again. The letter was still there. This time, she read it slowly, carefully, every word cut deep. In the letter, Derek talked about something from his past. He was abused as a teen by someone in his family. He had never told anyone before. He wrote that he was scared to open up, scared that if Janelle knew, she might not see him the same way. But he wanted to be honest. He wanted to start their marriage with no secrets. Carla's hands trembled as she folded the letter again. She felt a mix of emotions, sadness, guilt, anger, shame. But mostly, she felt useless. Why couldn't someone write a letter like that for her? Why was Janelle always the one people trusted, loved? She didn't sleep that night either. She kept thinking about the letter, about Derek, about Janelle. Her chest felt tight, her eyes burned. And then the idea came, a dark, heavy thought that refused to leave. What if she told Janelle that Derek cheated? At first, she shook her head. No, that would be too much. But the idea kept growing. What if she just hinted at it, said she saw something? It didn't have to be fully true, just enough to create doubt. The next morning, Carla sat down at the kitchen table while Janelle made coffee. You look tired, Janelle said, yawning. Carla smiled a little. Didn't sleep much. Janelle poured coffee into 2 mugs and sat down across from her. I've been thinking, Carla began. Do you really know everything about Derek? Janelle looked up. What do you mean? Carla played with her spoon. Last night, I saw him, outside, talking to someone. A woman. Janelle blinked. What? Who? I don't know, Carla said, shrugging. She was tall, pretty. He seemed close to her. Did they say anything? I couldn't hear, she lied. But they hugged. I thought it was strange. Janelle stared at her coffee for a long time. Are you sure? Carla nodded slowly. I didn't want to tell you, but I just thought you should know, before it's too late. Janelle didn't say much after that. She just got up, grabbed her keys, and left. Carla sat alone, heart pounding. Part of her felt sick. The other part felt powerful. That evening, she checked Janelle's room. She wasn't back yet. Her phone had been left behind. Carla felt tempted to look through it but didn't. Instead, she walked to her own room and sat down at the desk. She wrote something on a notepad. He slept with me. She stared at the words. Practice saying them out loud. She repeated them until they felt real. Then, after the wedding was ruined, everything changed. Janelle didn't go home that night. No one knew where she was. Carla waited in the apartment, pacing back and forth, checking her phone every 10 minutes. She tried calling, but Janelle didn't answer. Her messages weren't read. The next morning, Carla woke up to silence. She checked Janelle's room. It was empty. Her wedding dress was still hanging on the door, untouched. Then her mum called. What did you do? Her voice was sharp. Carla tried to stay calm. I told the truth. No, you didn't, her mum said. You destroyed your sister in front of everyone. And Derek, he's not saying anything. Why isn't he defending himself? I don't know, Carla whispered. Her mum hung up. Carla sat on the couch and stared at the wall. She didn't feel powerful anymore. She felt empty. Later that day, she got a text from a friend who had been at the wedding. People are saying you made it all up. Another message. Are you okay? I heard Janelle left town. Carla didn't reply. She just turned off her phone. By the 3rd day, the house felt colder. Janelle's things were still there, but her presence was gone. No laughter, no music, no scent of her favorite lotion in the air. Carla opened Janelle's drawer and found a photo of them as kids. She stared at it for a long time. 2 smiling girls holding hands, back when things were easier. That night, she heard a knock on the door. It was their mother, Loretta. She looked tired, angry. I want the truth, she said. I told you, Carla replied, her voice low. He slept with me. Loretta didn't believe her. You've always been jealous of her, since you were kids. And now you've gone too far. Carla looked down. You always took her side. This isn't about sides, Loretta snapped. It's about you destroying your own sister's life. Why? Carla's eyes filled with tears. Because she always had everything. Loretta's face softened, just for a second. So, you took it from her. I just wanted to feel important, Carla whispered. Just once. Loretta shook her head. You need help. Then she walked out. Carla cried for hours that night. She didn't know what she wanted anymore. She thought she wanted to protect Janelle, or maybe hurt her. But now all she felt was guilt. Meanwhile, Janelle was staying at a hotel downtown. She needed space. Her heart was broken, and her head was spinning. She didn't know what to believe. Carla's words haunted her, but so did Derek's silence. Why hadn't he fought back? Why hadn't he defended himself at the wedding? Then one evening, she checked her email. There was a message from Derek. No subject, just a PDF file attached. She opened it. It was a scanned letter, the same one Carla had read days ago. As Janelle read it, her hands began to shake. The words were painful, full of emotion. Derek was telling the truth about something very private. He had written it weeks before the wedding, but never gave it to her. In the letter, Derek shared a dark part of his past. When he was a teenager, he had been hurt by someone in his family. He wrote that it made it hard for him to trust people, to feel close. But with Janelle, he finally felt safe. He wanted to tell her before they got married, but he was scared. So he wrote the letter. Janelle covered her mouth. Tears streamed down her face. This wasn't a confession of cheating. It was a confession of pain, of fear, of love. She knew then Carla had lied, not just a little, but completely. The next day, Janelle returned home quietly. Carla was in the kitchen, eating toast. When she saw Janelle, she froze. Where have you been? She asked. Janelle didn't answer. She placed the letter on the table and stared at her sister. Carla looked at the paper. Her face went pale. You read it? She asked. Janelle nodded. Carla tried to speak, but no words came. You told me he cheated, Janelle said softly. You said he slept with you, but this This is what he was really hiding. Carla's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know what it was. I wanted to stop the wedding. Why? Janelle asked, her voice cracking. Why would you do that to me? Carla looked down. Because I hate that you always win. You always have everything, and I have nothing. You had me, Janelle whispered. I was your sister. I loved you. Carla sobbed. I'm sorry. But Janelle was already walking away. That night, Derek came by to pick up some of his things. Janelle met him outside. She didn't hug him, didn't smile. She just handed him a bag. I read your letter, she said quietly. Derek looked down. I should have told you sooner. You should have, she said. But I understand why you didn't. They stood in silence. Are we over? He asked. I don't know, she replied. I need time. He nodded, then walked away. Back inside, Carla sat on the couch. She watched her sister move through the house, collecting a few things. There was no yell. It had been almost 2 weeks since the wedding. Janelle had not spoken to Carla again. She packed up her things quietly and moved into a small apartment across town. She didn't tell Carla where she was going. She just left one morning, and that was it. Carla felt empty. She hadn't heard from her mother either. She barely ate. Most days she stayed in bed, curtains closed, the TV on, but the sound off. She thought about everything she'd done, the lie, the moment she stood up at the wedding, the look on Janelle's face, the silence from Derek. It haunted her. Then one day, Carla heard another knock on the door. When she opened it, Janelle was standing there. Her face was serious. She didn't look angry, just calm, too calm. Carla froze. Janelle, let me in, Janelle said. Carla stepped aside. They sat down in the living room, the same room where they used to watch movies together, where they used to laugh and eat popcorn on the floor. Carla couldn't speak. Her hands were shaking. Janelle pulled something from her bag. It was the letter, the one Derek wrote. She placed it on the table. Carla looked away. Read it, Janelle said. I already did, Carla whispered. Then we're going to talk about it, Janelle said, her voice low and steady. Every single word. Carla swallowed hard. Her eyes were already wet. Janelle began to read aloud. Her voice shook at first, but she kept going. Derek's words filled the room again. Words of pain, of honesty. He had been abused as a teenager. Someone close to him had hurt him. He kept it a secret for years, but he didn't want to keep it anymore. He wrote about how scared he was to open up, how much he loved Janelle, how badly he wanted to build a life with her, but felt broken inside. Carla started crying. She didn't try to stop it. Janelle finished the letter and placed it down. You knew this, she said. You read this, and you still told me he cheated. Carla wiped her eyes. I didn't read it all the way the first time. I was drunk, angry. I thought he was hiding something, and I needed to believe it was something bad. You wanted to destroy me, Janelle said. Carla shook her head quickly. I just wanted to feel like I mattered, like I wasn't nothing. You were never nothing, Janelle said. You were my sister. I loved you. I trusted you. Carla sobbed harder. I know. I ruined everything. There was silence. Janelle stood up and walked to the window. I spent the last 2 weeks trying to understand how you could do that to me, she said. I kept thinking there had to be a reason, that maybe you made a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Carla nodded slowly. I'm sorry. I don't need your sorry, Janelle said, turning around. I needed it 2 weeks ago. I needed it at the wedding. I needed you to tell the truth then, not now. I was afraid, Carla said softly. Afraid that if I told the truth, you'd hate me forever. I do hate you, Janelle said. At least part of me does. Carla flinched. But another part of me, Janelle continued, just feels sorry for you. You had everything you needed right here. Me, Mom, a place to stay, and you threw it away. I know, Carla whispered. I don't think you even hate me, Janelle said. I think you hate yourself. Carla looked up at her, eyes full of pain. Maybe I do. Janelle took a deep breath. You need help. Real help. You need to figure out why you keep hurting people who love you. Carla nodded slowly. I will. Janelle walked to the door. Before she opened it, she turned back. Derek told me he's going to therapy, that he's working on his healing. I don't know if I can ever be with him again, but at least he's honest about his pain. She paused. You should try being honest too. Then she walked out. The door closed gently behind her. Carla sat alone, staring at the letter on the table. She picked it up and read it again. Every word, every sentence. This time, she really saw it. Not just what Derek had written, but what it meant. He had trusted Janelle with his deepest pain, and Carla had used it to break them apart. Not because she hated him, not even because she hated Janelle, but because she didn't know how to live with being second. That night, Carla didn't drink. She didn't cry either. She just sat in the quiet, holding the letter close to her chest. And for the first time in a long time, she realized she had hit the bottom. And maybe, just maybe, there was nowhere left to go but up. Weeks passed. Carla didn't hear from Janelle again, but something had changed inside her. She started waking up earlier. She cleaned the apartment. She threw away the empty bottles and the leftover takeout boxes. She opened the curtains and let the sunlight in for the first time in weeks. The silence in the house no longer felt like punishment. It felt like space to think, to breathe. One morning, she looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. Her eyes looked tired. Her hair was a mess, and her skin was pale. But there was something else in her reflection, something honest. She had seen the damage she caused, and now she wanted to change. She made a decision. She searched online and found a local therapist. At first, it felt scary. She didn't want to open up to a stranger, but something told her she had to. She had to face what was inside her. At her first session, Carla sat across from a woman named Dr. Heller. She didn't speak for the first 10 minutes, just looked at the floor. Finally, Dr. Heller said, "Why are you here?" Carla whispered, "Because I hurt the only person who ever really loved me." From that moment, she started to heal. She talked about her childhood, how she always felt second to Janelle, how her parents would compare them, how every win Janelle had felt like a loss for her. She talked about her marriage with Marcus, how empty she felt when it ended, how unwanted. Dr. Heller listened without judgment. In one session, Carla said, "I always thought if I couldn't be the favorite, I could at least be the one in control." Dr. Heller replied, "But control built on lies always breaks." Those words stuck. Carla found a part-time job at a small bookstore. The pay wasn't great, but the space was quiet, and the people were kind. She liked the smell of paper, the sound of pages turning. It gave her peace. One day, a little girl came in with her father. The girl pointed at a book and smiled at Carla. "This one's my favorite." Carla smiled back. "That's a good choice." Something in her heart softened. She started walking more, listening to music she used to love. She stopped avoiding mirrors. She cooked meals at home instead of ordering out. And slowly, she started to forgive herself. Not completely, but a little more each day. She wrote a letter to Janelle. She didn't expect a reply. She just needed to say what was in her heart. "Dear Janelle, I don't expect you to forgive me. I wouldn't if I were you. But I need you to know. I see it now. I see what I did. I see how I hurt you. You trusted me, and I used that trust to hurt you. I let jealousy eat me alive. It wasn't about Derek. It was about me, about feeling like I never mattered. But I realize now, you were never trying to outshine me. You were just trying to love me, and I couldn't see it. I'm sorry, Janelle. Truly. I'm getting help. I'm learning. Even if we never speak again, I'll carry this lesson for the rest of my life. Love, Carla." She mailed the letter without telling anyone. Days turned into weeks. Life went on. At the bookstore, Carla started helping with the children's reading program. She read stories to kids on Saturday mornings. It became her favorite part of the week. The kids didn't know about her past. To them, she was just Miss Carla, the woman who read books with funny voices. One Saturday, after the reading session, Carla was cleaning up when her co-worker said, "There's someone asking for you at the front." Carla walked out, and her heart nearly stopped. It was Janelle. She looked different, stronger. Her hair was pulled back, and she wore a calm expression. Carla froze. Hi, Janelle said. They stood in silence for a moment. "I got your letter," Janelle finally said. Carla nodded, her eyes already filling with tears. "I didn't write back," Janelle continued. "I didn't know what to say." "You didn't have to," Carla whispered. "But I've been thinking about you," Janelle said. "And I'm glad you're getting help." Carla nodded again. "I'm not ready to be close again," Janelle said. "But maybe, one day, we can talk." Carla smiled through her tears. "That's more than I deserve." Janelle looked at her, soft but firm. "You don't have to keep punishing yourself. Just keep doing better." "I will," Carla said. Janelle gave her a small nod, then turned and walked out the door. Carla watched her go, heart full of pain and hope at the same time. She didn't know what the future held. She didn't know if Janelle would ever trust her again, but she knew she had taken the first step, and that meant everything. 1 year later, Carla was still working at the bookstore. Her life was calm now. No drama, no lies. Just quiet days, filled with books and soft music. She still went to therapy. She still had hard days, but she had learned to face them without hiding, without running. She was learning to forgive herself slowly. That morning, she opened her mailbox and found a small package. There was no name on it, just her address written neatly. Inside was a photo. It was an old picture of her and Janelle, maybe aged 7 and 10, sitting in the backyard, both smiling, holding hands. Carla ran her fingers over it gently. Tucked behind the photo was a short note in Janelle's handwriting. I don't hate you anymore, but I still don't trust you. Let's start there. Carla held the note for a long time. She didn't cry. She didn't smile too wide either. She just felt something soft in her chest, a quiet kind of hope. She walked back into her apartment and placed the photo on the table beside her bed. Then she whispered, "Thank you." Some people might call it a small thing, but for Carla, it was everything, and that was enough.